Hello everyone, happy February 5th. Today is Thursday and we are going to discuss communicating our expectations. But before we get into that, our highlight for today is Marsai Martin. She is a Guinness World Record holder. At 14 years old, she was the youngest Hollywood executive producer. Not only that, she's won 11 NAACP Image Awards. Marsai Martin is a young woman that is making changes and opening doors for so many young people out there. So I would encourage y'all to go look her up, see what she's doing in life, watch some of her movies, some of the things she's been in. She's a great, amazing actress as well. And with that being said, let's get into today's tip. Okay, so what do you need when you're communicating your expectations? First, you're gonna know what needs to be communicated, why this needs to be communicated, and what do you want to come out of this conversation? So what's your desired outcome? Then you need to know how you want it communicated: on the phone, email, the expected response times. Is this something that's urgent or not so urgent? You want to make sure that whatever is communicated, that it's respectful, direct, and honest. And lastly, we're asking, listening, and seeking to understand. So let's break all of those down. First, when we have expectations, we're going to make sure that we state them directly, preferably that you write them down, that there's an email sent out, that there's a letter, there's something that is in writing. Something that I've learned over the years, my mom's told me this, I've learned from my own experience: write everything down. Especially for managers out there, you cannot say that you had a conversation with someone and they didn't sign something. There was no email sent out discussing and stating this is what we discussed. For associates, we are making sure that if there is an agreement, get it in writing. Get them to write down. Anything that is told to you over the phone, ask for an email, because if it's not in writing, then it's just he said, she said. It could be denied. It can, and sometimes, most of the time, it's your word against their word. And most companies are listening to the employers and not the employees. So we want to make sure that everything is written down. All expectations are written down, and any agreements to expectations are written down, and that you have copies. Next, we're going to agree on the best way to communicate. How do we want that? Do we want quick updates? Do we want feedback, very specific, detailed feedback on whatever the project was, whatever the expectation for the assignment was? We're going to make sure that these deadlines that we're giving are reasonable. What are the deadlines, and is it reasonable? Next, we're going to focus on making sure that when we are asking for stuff, we're being positive. We're not on the negative. We talked about this a little bit in the last couple of days, but we're going to make sure that we're framing our wants as positive instead of stop being late, don't show up late, which is a valid thing to say. You can say something along the lines of, please arrive 15 minutes early. Make sure you're not condescending with this, because there are some ways you can phrase that and it can be very rude and people don't want to hear that, or it seems like you're talking down on someone. When we set these expectations, we need to make sure that the expectations that we set are achievable. If we know that this person that we've asked to do this has a huge workload, and now we're putting something else on there and we want them to deliver on that as well, we need to take into account what all they're doing. Next, we're going to make sure that we are encouraging questions. Encourage your staff, encourage questions. If you've set an expectation and you want to make sure that everyone's on the same page, so answer them and listen to them to make sure that you're on the same page. You don't want to leave a conversation where one person thinks one thing and the other person thinks another, because at the end of the day, goals do not align. The last one, but also this is similar to one of the other steps: follow up. Make sure any verbal conversation is followed up by a summary email. If I have a conversation with you about how things need to be done, then I'm going to send an email saying that. If I have a conversation with you about not showing up on time or not doing work to the best of your ability, I'm going to send an email following up our discussion. This prevents confusion, because if it's not written down, if it's not emailed, it doesn't count. A phone call Even if the phone call is recorded, send a follow-up email afterwards. After you have a conversation, it needs to be followed up by an email, a formal email, and maybe a text message if you know the person that you're working with is younger or on the younger side. Cover your behind. That's what we call it. We call it covering your behind. Some people call it CYA. You're gonna make sure that all your T's are crossed and all your I's are dotted. At no point will they catch you slipping. And that is what I'm trying to help you with. All right, thank you so much for watching today. I will see you tomorrow with more tips.